Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading. Today we're taking a look at the case of Stephen Avery. Now there's a lot of information on this case and this person, but the main reason why we're looking at him is because of the murder disappearance of Theresa Halbach, which he got convicted for. The problem with this case is that there is a lot of evidence that seems to have come out of nowhere, or at least it's not very convincing. Very unusual things happening, like a medical examiner not being allowed to investigate bones found on a property in a burn pit and later in a quarry as well. The location, the trailer that Stephen lived in, being searched repeatedly, and only on the 7th time them actually finding some type of evidence, which turned out to be her car key to her ranch 4. And the car key was apparently so much covered in Stephen's DNA that it was very unusual. They later even did another test where they had Stephen holding a key for about 15 minutes, and the amount that was on there was minimal. In other words, a lot of strange things happening. There's much more evidence against or for his innocence, whichever way you want to look at it. If you want to, you can go ahead and look up a few videos of his. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have made videos about them. They also have a documentary on it on Netflix. I just canceled my Netflix subscription about half a year ago, so I didn't see that, but there are plenty of people talking about this case to get the gist of it, even if you don't have Netflix as well. Now, why would they be so excited to plant everything on Stephen Avery? And by them, I mean the police department and detectives that are trying to solve this case. It turns out that Stephen Avery had a bit of a muddled past. He was not exactly a great person. One of the first convictions that he had was for animal cruelty, where he took a cat, doused it in gasoline, and literally threw it into a fire pit to watch it burn and die, along with apparently a few friends that were there. I'm not really sure what type of a crowd he was hanging with. Either way, not great. Later, he also robbed a store, I believe, something along those lines. He did a few things, but then came a rape case where the composite sketch artist sketched somebody who looked like Stephen, and the local police department thought, oh, it's definitely Stephen. We know this guy, he's a troublemaker. So they convicted him of rape. Somebody else called in from somewhere else to say that he did it, but they were like, no, we already got our man, so you don't really need to show up. We've got the perpetrator, but thanks for calling in, I guess. And then they found some DNA evidence of the perpetrator, and that DNA evidence did not match Stephen. But it did match this other person who had reported himself for this crime. So they had to let him go because of a wrongful conviction. Now, Stephen did not take this lying down. He instead decided to sue the sheriff's department of Manitoba for, I believe, millions of dollars, which is money that the sheriff's department did not have. So in that sense, since they were looking to lose that legal suit against them, people suspect that all this tampering with evidence, making things disappear, not allowing the right people to look at the right type of stuff, may have something to do with them just making their problem go away. We don't know for sure, of course, because there's lots of people saying for and against the correct conviction. Also, there's something about his nephew being basically talked into a confession. His nephew is also not the brightest bulb in the box, so they may have influenced him as well. That was also later, I believe, overturned, that confession, but that didn't help too much for Stephen. Well, I could go on, but basically there's a lot going on with this case. There's a lot of details that you probably want to go take a look at that seem to point in the direction of foul play, but we don't know for sure, and that is why we're doing a tarot reading on the case today. We're going to start off with the tarot of the magical force, which is currently on the table, and it's this one in case you want to get yourself a copy. And we're going to move on for the further questions to the modern witch tarot, which is this one, also a fairly common one on the channel. Before we do that, though, if you have a case that you would like me to review, please do not put it in the comment section. Please look in the description of the video, which may be somewhere in the top right or below. It tends to move around a bit. There is a link to a Google form there. You can enter your suggestion there anonymously. You can leave the name and a short description of the case, and then I've got everything in one place, and I like it that way. So if you could do that, that would be great. Now, I'm just going to start shuffling the cards, and as soon as I have a screen full of cards, we're going to stop and take a look. So without much further ado, let's get started. Okay, well, we've got quite a nice collection here. We're starting at the top left with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, the Star in reverse, and the Ace of Swords upright. Now, the Seven of Pentacles is normally like watching the things you've planted start to grow, what you've invested in, basically taking shape. And in this case, it's in reverse, so this may just be looking at the time that you've wasted, looking at the resources you've wasted, things you could have been doing that you didn't do. Basically, not a great outlook in life, or at least not for that particular moment when this is happening. Followed by the Star in reverse and the Ace of Swords. Now, the Star in reverse, I think, is either you feeling not very good about yourself, not feeling very radiant, could also just be combined with the Seven of Pentacles, just feeling like you're not going to amount too much. You're not shining very brightly because of the bad past, or at least the bad investments that you made in the past. But then we suddenly have an idea over here. This might be a new thought that suddenly popped up that may have led to new actions. In any case, could also have led to new words, because of course the swords are a word and thought suit. It's mostly communication based, so I think it's definitely a new idea because it's also a thought thing. Like I said, they've got a new idea that may be related to the fact that they were just lamenting their past. I think at least this part is Stephen thinking, or at least looking back on his past and going, well, I didn't do too great. What am I going to do in the future? Next two cards that we see are the King of Cups in reverse. Then we have the Nine of Cups in reverse. And the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, followed by a Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Or upright, sorry, the last one. There's four cards there, so I'm going to grab two at a time. So we have here King of Cups in reverse. Now, King of Cups is normally somebody who is very well aware of their emotions, also very well in tune with them. The Nine of Cups in reverse, though, shows that he is not feeling too great about himself. Also, the King is in reverse, so it's kind of like either they are feeling manipulated or they feel like manipulating, or something's wrong with their emotional state. In any case, they're not doing too great. As you can see, both of them are in reverse. Also kind of drawn to look at the little fish here, right there in the corner, because normally the little fish pops up when we are looking at the Page of Cups, where it is a surprise. And the boat in the background appears to be sailing away. So it's like there was something going on, at least something that's caught them off guard, and also another feeling of lost opportunity, in case the ship is not going to come close anytime soon. And that is putting them in a foul mood. But this new idea is turning into a new action, which is represented here by the Ace of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. So even though this was not perceived as a great action, it did lead, or at least were suspected to lead, to great resources gained. So this might be the part where he's like going through the trouble of suing the sheriff's department and seeing a lot of money coming his way because his lawyer is probably telling him, you've got a pretty good case here. because of course he had the conviction there for the rape that he did not commit. So he was probably looking to gain quite a bit from that whole debacle, and feeling good about that at that point. Now the next part that we have here, next line, we have the Page of Swords, which is somebody who tends to act and speak rashly. We have the Six of Swords over here, normally like being transported or just letting other people guide you, followed by the Queen of Cups in reverse. So looking at the case, I think they may have spoken before their turn at some points, and they have let other people lead the way. If you look at this one, this is the same person that is holding the sword over here. The page is now in the boat, rowing this person along, who apparently does not want to be recognized. It almost seems a little bit like them trying to steer the conversation, so to speak, trying to take charge. And this here Queen of Cups is not happy with that. We've seen him already with a King of Cups, so I think this might be somebody that they were opposing, who's not feeling too great about that, because I've said it before, this particular Queen of Cups in the verse, it really does have a darkness here, and that appears to be coming out. And for whatever reason, the people who made this deck made most of the animals with huge bulging eyes, and particularly the eyes on this queen look to be very stressed, panicked. This may have been a knee-jerk reaction that may have come from this, like just feeling really bad about stuff and then just trying to fix things as soon as possible. Because over here we have the King of Wands in reverse. So this is somebody who sprung into action and kicked off the wheel, because the wheel is next card, and that means that things were being spun around, perhaps to their favor. And since it is a King in reverse, we're looking at big actions that were taken in a negative sense. So this is definitely not a positive action being carried out by somebody who is fairly influential. This king will have had a lot of people following them and taking or carrying out their actions. We have the Ten of Swords, which is a lot of anxiety. And we have the Nine of Wands in reverse. So Nine of Wands is being tired of fighting, having fought a lot. And this tiredness is probably also brought on by the fact that they're also mentally tired with this Ten of Swords. Now, I'm not really sure who is mentally tired here, but it's somebody who's really tired of fighting. This could be Stephen. This could be people who are trying to fight against him. Maybe they were tired of fighting off the other lawsuit. Something along those lines probably being represented here. In any case, somebody's feeling very down and very tired, and that is perhaps the result of the wheel turning. So this might be Stephen that we're looking at, because initially he was over here feeling good about the future, and then we have this little quick lineup over here followed by the wheel, and then nothing but tiredness and anxiety. So I think that that wheel turned not in his favor and was being turned forcefully by a few other people, which appear to be represented by the Queen of Cups in reverse and the King of Wands in reverse. Now let's see what else we have. What else can we see about this case? Because I believe he is currently still in jail. Are we going to see any changes for that? We have here Justice. Okay, so Justice is coming up, which is a good sign. The thing with Justice as well in this particular case is that it's not just Stephen that may have been locked away incorrectly. Also, the family and loved ones of Theresa may or may not, actually I say don't, but maybe they don't have the right man to blame for the disappearance of their loved one. So justice is also not really given to them. Oop, there goes a card on the floor, which is the Chariot in reverse. So we're being slowed down. I think this may also still be referencing Justice. Justice being slowed down. The course of action that they would normally take is being slowed down. We have the Two of Swords here, which is being of two minds, trying to make stuff up. Also, this is very reminiscent of Justice as well. A woman with a blindfold and a sword, although the other hand usually they have a scale, just like they do over here. And this person does not have a blindfold, so together they're actually the official Justice sign. But anyway, so this is being of two minds, but also trying to get justice or thinking about justice, trying to judge without judging, if you know what I mean, trying to be objective in this case, but that's taking a lot of time. We have the King of Swords, which is also a player in this story. Now, the King of Swords is usually represented by a male, but it could also just be somebody who has a lot of masculine energy, a lot of go-get-em type of energy, and in this case somebody who is very smart, well-spoken, probably learned as well. And I'm looking at the butterflies above their head, which to me represents creativity and just being able to come up with things very quickly, quick-witted perhaps, somebody who is able to connect things together and make sense of them, or at least come up with something good. We now have the Four of Cups in reverse. So normally Four of Cups is just not really wanting to make a decision, and in reverse I tend to see that as having no choice. Perhaps also because if this person is being represented here, this may be the person who is trying to fight the injustice. They probably see no other choice but to fight this because they want justice to be served, no matter who that might set free or put in jail. So they are definitely trying to sort things out. This seems like we're talking about their lawyer. And we have here the Ten of Swords in reverse, so this is the opposite of the situation here. So I think whatever despair Stephen Avery may have felt back around here, maybe lifting, or perhaps they're starting to see the silver lining or the dawn itself, because the Ten of Swords, I say that it is the darkest before the dawn card, meaning that everything feels terrible until the dawn arrives, and then all the weight is lifted. So I think this is in progress right now, that he's feeling like things are moving finally. Oh, that one flipped itself over, but we got two cards here. Yeah, we got Strength and the Eight of Wands. Now, Strength is a card. Oh, is there more cards underneath? No, it's just two cards. Okay. So the Strength is coming back. They're taming their anxiety, which in this case I think is represented by the lion, which sits there peacefully with a nice set of roses around their neck. Being tamed by somebody who looks very similar to the King of Swords over there. A lot of people, I think all the people in this deck, the Bond-Wish Tarot, are actually women. So if you see a king, it's still a woman sitting there. In any case, similar type of person to this Strength person. And I think that they may be the reason why Stephen is feeling more strength. Now we have the Eight of Wands here, which is normally a lot of action, a lot of communication as well. So I think that even though he has strength due to this new turnaround, or at least somebody trying to fight on his behalf, I think that he feels like he's not being told enough, and that there isn't enough communication going on, and that it's not quite as fast as he would like, because as you can see, there's like a lot of action on the card. There's a motorcycle speeding underneath. Normally the Eight of Swords, normally the Eight of Wands is also a card of just new speed, new growth, a lot of energy basically. But it's in reverse, so I feel like he feels that it's still lacking a lot of movement. Also, we're lining it up with the Chariot, which is also in reverse. So it's kind of like justice is being carried out, but it's slow. It's slower than Stephen would like, and other people that are probably fighting on his behalf would like. But it does look like something is being done to carry out justice. Oops, that one jumped out of the deck. What is it? It is the Death card. Okay, so that's the end of an era, actually, which is very interesting. And Death does not spare kings. As you can see, there's a king at the bottom right there under the horse. That reminds me of the King of Wands over here. I think that there is somebody involved who probably feels like they are above everybody else, but as this Death card is showing, nobody is above death. So nobody is above wheels turning and things just carrying on. Life carries on, and even the prideful will fall at some point. And they may have actually tried to fight it, because if you look over here, these three do look remorseful. Though the little girl over here, I don't know if you can see her, I'll pick the card back up again. The little girl down there, it appears to just be accepting of death, is trying to offer them like a peace offering, like here's a flower, please be gentle. At least those three are remorseful and or calm about it, but I think that this king, also in the way that they're falling with their crown having fallen off their head, may have tried to fight it. So this person, this king over here, and other people who are high ranking that are involved with this case, that may be on the wrong side of history, so to speak, are going to find that they are not going to be able to maintain their position, because eventually death comes from all. And of course I don't mean literal death, but in this case it would be a change and an end of an era, end of a chapter. Now, Nine of Cups is still in reverse, so even though there is an end coming, there's an end in sight, we're still not feeling too good about it. I think that this is also a result of the Eight of Wands card over there in the background still being flipped as well, just feeling very bad about things and feeling like things are not going their way, even though they probably are. Or maybe just feeling really bad about their outcome because they know the opposition that they are up against. We do have here the Queen of Cups upright, which is interesting because we saw the Queen of Cups earlier and they were in reverse. So if this is the same person, then it may be that somebody's having a change of hearts and they may decide to come clean, or at the very least no longer lie about things. They may have just changed their mind about the whole situation. Like they may have seen so many things going wrong and it may not have been their intention for all of this to go or carry on this long, that they may have decided to throw in the towel. In any case, they're focusing very much on the cup that is in front of them, which can also just mean emotional exhaustion. The next card that we have here is the Ten of Wands, which is also, it fits very nicely to the Nine of Wands that we have over here. So the Ten of Wands is basically carrying the very last load to its final destination where you can finally drop it and take a breather. Now this is in reverse, so I think that this Queen over here is now the one who's feeling overburdened, and they may feel like they can't keep that up very much longer. So maybe the Nine of Cups is also partially for them, whoever this person may be. All right, we have quite a few cards here. Those will probably be the last ones then, because it's at least 4. Yeah, okay, we're starting off with the Knight of Cups, which is in a similar mood to the Queen of Cups. Like I was just saying, the Queen of Cups over there is staring at the cup like that's all they can really focus on right now. All they really have right now to focus on are their emotions, and they're taking up all of their time and energy, and the same goes for the Knight of Cups. So somebody is tired of fighting and also just kind of turning inward and no longer really wanting to spend so much time and effort on this whole thing, because the Eight of Pentacles is normally somebody who's working on things with a lot of focus and is really gifted at their craft. But they may be losing that, or they just may be losing the energy or the resources to continue fighting this, because it can take a lot of time, money, and effort and resources to fight a lawsuit, or several perhaps. Next we have the Hermit, who is retreating, and we have the Moon in reverse. So this entire lineup with these 4 right here is basically somebody giving up on fighting and withdrawing from public, maybe from the public eye. But there's also things coming to light, because they have the Moon here, which tends to hide things, but it's in reverse. So I think that whatever was hidden before now has a greater chance to actually come to the forefront and be seen by all. Like what lurks beneath, as you can see there in the water, is about to rise. There is the path leading into the cave back there, which appears to be lit up by the full moon above. So I think whoever this Queen is, which may be 1 or 2 people, perhaps more, maybe the whole organization, I don't know, somebody in any case being represented by the Queen of Cups. And now the Knight of Cups, they are tired of fighting, they are tired of hiding, applying their craft just to keep this one thing afloat, and they want to withdraw from the whole thing, and their withdrawal is probably going to bring a lot of stuff to light, or at least give people the opportunity to shine light on things. So this looks like it could be good for Stephen's case. In any case, so far we're not actually seeing anything about Theresa herself. Don't see anything about her family or her perpetrator. We're not seeing too much about that. This does appear to only really be about Stephen and his position that he's in and how he might be able to get out of it. So, quick summary. We saw him seeing that he had not invested his resources very well over here with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. There was a whole line underneath with him feeling like the future was pretty bleak, but then he had an idea, which was probably the lawsuit, and which he felt on the end over here was going to basically solve a lot of his financial problems with the Nine of Pentacles. Second row saw people fighting that after he probably ran his mouth a bit too much with the Page of Swords and the Six of Swords underneath right there. And the rest was other people working very hard to stop him in his tracks. Then on the top here right now we have Justice that is moving very slowly, being kept alive though by people who are really willing to go to task for this case. Seeing no other option but to do that, which is basically removing the darkness that was obscuring the dawn that was approaching. Although we're still feeling like it's taking too long. And then the rest is people coming to the realization that they can't keep up the charades any longer. So that is what I'm seeing for Steven Avery and his case. I hope you found it interesting. In any case, make sure to leave a like and a comment. That really helps the channel along. And I hope to see you in another video. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.